Silver bells, silver bells, silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, ring-a-ling. Hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Even though it's November. I don't know what that transition was. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. Even though it's November. And there's Thanksgiving. You gotta stuff yourself a turkey. There's turkey to eat. You're gonna eat yourself a turkey. And the chat stops chatting. And so now I just sing. And holy. Oh gosh. Gonna make myself, like, just kill myself with my terrible music before y'all even see me. Here we go. And hello, everybody! Hopefully y'all can see me. Also, make sure there's the creepy Star Trek music in the background. Like, ooh. Oh. Not Christmassy just yet. I was just mostly joking. I know it says it's not Christmas yet. I am a Christmas person. Let me put it this way. Halloween is my second favorite holiday, and then Christmas is my favorite holiday, even though I'm not a super religious person. I just like the Christmassy feel. So I'm in this, like, transition period where it's like, oh, spooky stuff's done, and now it soon becomes like Christmassy stuff, but it's not there yet, and it's just like the month of food that's like very problematic. Thanksgiving's very problematic. So now it's just a very problematic month where I get to eat a bunch of food, and I don't know how to feel about that. So there you go. That's where I'm at right now. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Oh, but Foreign Man in a Foreign Land. Heart to you. Thank you. It's good to see you. By the way, everyone, please go subscribe to Foreign Man in a Foreign Land's channel. He has an amazing channel. I just watched your video earlier today, like the forgot the exact title, but like people going to other countries, like to the Caribbean for like sex and seeking out sex. It was an excellent video, by the way, Foreign Man in a Foreign Land. You did a really wonderful job on that. And by the way, I love your story. Like, your stories at the beginning of your videos are wonderful. I absolutely appreciate them. So, heart to you, and thank you for the super chat, you lovely person. And yes, I will be doing a Christmas album at some... No. It's announced my William Shatner-esque Christmas album. I'm here for it. I don't think anyone else would be, but I'm here. But hello to everybody. Let me quick say hi to everyone. Aaronock. Oh, Aaronock's here too. It's good to see you as well. Oh, wonderful YouTube creators here as well. Aaronock, everyone should go subscribe to Aaronock's channel. By the way, Aaronock, am I saying that right? I don't actually know if I'm saying that right. I might be, because I've like not actually heard your name pronounced. Like, so apologies if I'm saying your name. But go subscribe to Aaronock's channel, because the Midnight Mass video that you did was absolutely freaking amazing. I love that video, and all your other stuff. Like, I actually just started last night, your Tron is Inherently Queer video, and love that. It's really, really good. So please go subscribe to both of those people, because they're both really, really good, and they're both excellent people. But let me say hi to everyone else in here. Who else is here? Let's see. Corey, good to see you. Jedi Indiana Jones, good to see you. Jedi Indiana Jones, thank you so much for sharing Foreign Man in a Foreign Lands channel. I appreciate that. And Aaronock, good, I am saying it correct. Hell yeah. Maggie the Goblin, Corey, good to see you. Reed M10, good to see you. Amy, that other Ted, Mac the Knife, Alexis Edits. Who else is here? Also, you know what, before I forget, I want to make sure Aaronock and Foreign Man in a Foreign Land both become moderators. You're both moderators now. I have given you the wrench. You have been wrenched. You've been wrenched. Both of ya. Before we get going too much further, and I see a few super chats, which I very much am appreciative of. But let me just, before we do that, let me quick get into the introduction to today's. I keep trying to refresh it up, but like I keep trying to refresh the intro to this live stream every single week. And I like try to do it like mid-sentence, and I'm like, this is the same thing I've always said. And then I try to change it, and then I screw it up because I can't think of something clever enough, fast enough. So that's just me. Regardless, welcome to my weekly chat stream. So every week for about an hour or so, we hang out and I answer questions that you all have. We just sort of hang out. I talk about whatever anyone else wants to talk about. Super chats are super appreciated. So if you give me a super chat, I give you a heart and obviously answer your question. But obviously, don't feel obligated to give super chats at all if you don't feel comfortable with it or you don't have the money to do it. I try to pay attention to the chat as best I can beyond the super chats as well. But again, super chats are appreciated. They help pay the bills. But again, no obligation. No super big announcements today before we get started. I will say, I'm probably going to end this stream again a little bit early. I would have actually started, for those of you who don't know, I started an improv class that takes place basically right after this stream. And I'm planning on moving back the stream just a little bit for the next few weeks just to accommodate that until the class is over and towards the end of December. But I didn't do it this week because, number one, I forgot, and then number two, I also had a dentist appointment earlier that I didn't know how. I actually just got back from the dentist like 30 minutes ago, so I actually don't know. I didn't know how long it was going to last. So next week, just expect that the stream will be starting probably about like 30 to 15 minutes earlier than usual. This stream is going to end just about like 15 minutes earlier this week instead of going the full hour, and then next week we'll go a full hour just starting earlier. So that's all the announcement. Oh, and tomorrow I saw some people already talking about it because some patrons got to see it. Tomorrow I have a video going up. I had the absolute, sorry, I'm just ranting. I will check out the chat, and I noticed I saw some super chats, so I apologize that I haven't had a chance to look at them just yet, but I do want to just say, because I'm very excited about this, I had the absolutely, like, I want to say, like, awesome, but awesome doesn't feel like the right word, like, mind-blowing opportunity, along with my friend Geek Filter, who might be in the chat, by the way, and please give some love to Geek Filter, because I know he's been having a hard time lately. But my co-host and friend, Geek Filter, Aaron Harvey, he and I got to interview the amazing Mike McMahon, who is the showrunner of Lower Decks, and we talked to him for like a literal hour and a half. We actually went into, apparently he had a writing meeting for the writer's room on Solar Opposites, which is his other show. And he actually went into his Solar Opposites meeting to talk with us. And he was just so kind, and it was so wonderful. And he was very open and honest. I love Lower Decks, but I try to ask like, not harder hitting questions, but like really just like questions that wouldn't be like, well, this Star Trek thing is cool. Like to ask about representation and punching up with comedy. And he had some really thoughtful answers in there. And I mean, we asked, like, both of us asked some dumb questions too, like, why isn't the handle on the Cerritos flipper friendly? Which he actually also had a thoughtful answer too, which I was very pleased about. So basically I just want to say that it was a really awesome opportunity. To be honest with you, it might be one of the coolest things that I have ever had I don't think it's the coolest thing I've ever made, because I think I've made some cool stuff, but, like, this job, it gets me to do some cool stuff and meet cool people, and getting to meet Mike McMahon, who is someone who has created a show that means so much to me, in a franchise that means so much to me, and have him actually show that he is as kind and wonderful a human being as I hoped that he would be. And that the show that I care about so much is made by kind and caring and wonderful people, and thoughtful people who think about, like, trans issues, who think about LGBTQ issues, think about other issues as well. It really meant a lot to me. It legitimately really meant a lot to me. And I was so happy with that, and it was a true honor. And so I'm excited to share that interview with all of you. And I also want to say to all of you that thank you for that opportunity. I would not have been able to do something as cool as that if it were not for all of you, for not helping this channel, for helping grow this channel, for being supportive of me, for being supportive of my weird love of Star Trek. I just want to say, especially to everyone watching right now, and to everyone who watches the interviews and subscribes and all that stuff, I really appreciate it. Thank you for letting me do this. Thank you for helping me do this. It truly means a ton. It really does. So I hope you all enjoy that interview when it goes up tomorrow. I'm excited to share it with all of you. I know patrons seem to have thought it was a good interview. You'll all have to tell me. Yeah. I think it was. I think I really appreciate it. So, anyways, that's what that's all the announcement stuff. Thank you for letting me gush a little bit about that. But let me just make sure, and thank you. I see people in the chat too saying, thanks, Jessie. And people are also saying, yes, I agree. Don and a few others are mentioning, thank you, Jillian. You are amazing too. But But yes, people are saying R.I.P. to Dean Stockwell. Also, I should say Dean Stockwell, R.I.P. Love Dean Stockwell. Adored him in Quantum Leap, obviously, is his big claim to fame. His Al was the heart of that show, and he was so good at it. Like, the stuff that Al goes through in that show, like the Vietnam stuff and some of the other things. It's been a hot minute since I watched Quantum Leap, so I want to go back. Maybe I should go back and rewatch Quantum Leap, to be honest. I used to write Quantum Leap fan fiction back in the day, but it's been so long since I wrote it. I got into it through Scott Bakula, because Star Trek Enterprise, because of course. But Dean Stockwell was just so amazing. And it's so sad to see him pass. The other thing that I really remember, I mean, obviously he was in Star Trek Enterprise as well for an episode. But he was also excellent, and probably one of my favorite characters in Battlestar Galactica. I don't want to spoil. If you haven't seen Battlestar Galactica, I don't want to say who his character is because it's a bit of a spoiler. But Dean Stockwell is in Battlestar Galactica, and he is phenomenal in that show. Absolutely great in that show, to my mind. And it was very sad to see him passing. So, heart to everyone who misses Dean Stockwell, and especially to his family. But he will be certainly missed, because he was an absolutely fantastic actor. And thank you, Jenny and Jen, for sharing Aeronox channel. I appreciate that. St. Beatles, draw Jessie Ginger like one of your French girls. Oh, is Beatles, draw me like the French girl. Draw me like one of your French girls. Like in Titanic. That would be fun. But I did see some super chats. So let me just quick address those, and then I'll get back to the main part of the chat because I don't want to miss those super chats. But Sarah, heart to you, good to see you. Also, Sarah is an excellent. By the way, Sarah makes does a YouTube channel called The Costume Codex, which is also really, really good. And I actually just shared her recent video that she did on my blanking on the movie Pleasantville, which is a really good reading of that movie. I haven't actually seen the movie, but I've seen like enough analyses of the movie, and your analysis was really, really good, and I loved you like reading it as like a race allegory, a trans allegory, and allegories for like otherization. It was very excellent, and everyone should check that out because Sarah's videos are also amazeballs. Edward Bedor, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. Hopefully you're still in chat. I don't know if you are, but you said, I have to run. This ship's too big. If I walk, the stream will be over. Oh, that's funny. Good to see you, Edward Bedor. It's good to see you. And Corey, good to see you, and heart to you, and Vale, love to you both, you lovely, lovely people. You said, Jesse, Vale sends their love. I do too, but Vale insisted I send on their behalf. Well, I only got your love, Vale. I only got Vale's love. No love from Corey. I will not accept Corey's love. That's for you. That's for you, Vale. For you, Vale, I will not accept Corey's love. Of course, I love you both. You're both wonderful. Both of you, Corey and Vale. You're absolutely wonderful. Mwah. Send you both love. Good. I'm glad you're still here, Edward Beater. Good to see you. Cool. All right. So now I'm all caught up on the chat. So if I'm missing any super chats, just let me know. Miss Wicked Wolf says, I love your hoodie. Thank you so much. I love this hoodie. Banjo-Kazooie is one of my favorite games, and I love this hoodie. It's also very comfy. It's a very comfy hoodie. Unfortunately, because I'm wearing it partially because my improv class that I'm going to after this, because it's indoors. I mean, we're all vaccinated. It's you have to be vaccinated to be in the class, but we're also keeping all the windows open and everything just to try and be safe. But because it's cold and in the middle of like late fall, beginning of winter, it's freezing. So trying to do improv will also like freezing my butt off is interesting. But you know, we deal with what we got to deal with. So let's see. Stuart Stave says, "Can you believe 11/11/11 was almost 11 years ago today? Well, 10 years ago. 10 years ago today, right? Not 11. 10 years ago today. So next year it'll be 11 years ago today. But yeah, 10 years ago, 11/11/11, the release day of Skyrim. Which, by the way, I'll actually say this now. Because they released the anniversary Skyrim edition, I've kind of had a hankering to play some Skyrim. So we might be playing Skyrim for the drunk stream this weekend. By the way, sorry for canceling the drunk stream last weekend. I was overwhelmed. I had a lot going on. So I just kind of needed a break last weekend. But yes, we are going to be doing Skyrim this weekend. Very excited about it. So we'll have some fun with that. See, I watched your video on Burnout today. It made me cry and it made me feel seen. Way, thank you. Oh, well, Shay Way, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for saying that you really appreciated the video. I've heard a lot of people connected with that video. I mean, clearly, like, that video was hitting on something that I think we're all feeling. I mean, I made the video because I was feeling it. I mean, this whole idea of like the Great Resignation happening right now certainly shows that I think a lot of people are just kind of fed up with the crap that is our bullshit work that a lot of us have to do, and this culture, and not even if you're not doing like a quote unquote bullshit job, but this culture of like, oh, we're going to consider jobs essential, but not people essential. We're going to work and string every last piece of work out of people without recognizing their humanity. This culture of like work, and work is your only like definition of value. I think people are really starting to realize how crap that is after something like the pandemic. And I think we're really starting to really feel it. And yeah, I think, not to aggrandize the video, I just think the video was speaking to something I was feeling, and I was really glad that because I was feeling it, I knew that other people were feeling it too, and I'm really pleased that video connected with people. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Oh, Edward Duroy, thank you so much for the super chat. Next month, we have a new Matrix movie. December could be a good time for that Matrix game, The Path of Neo. Yes, I do want to do that. That is the plan. Also, I should say, sorry to promote. This is me just telling patrons. But next week, because I know people are asking, next week we're going to start our Matrix rewatch for patrons. So if you're a patron, I'll put up the date for that. But we're going to start rewatching the Matrix movies, the sequels, because you already watched the first one sometime next week. So just keep an eye out for that. I'll post it up on patrons in case anyone was curious. Lyra, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, have fun in Skyrim, Queen. I may see you atop the mountains, fletching my arrows, sending you a hug. Aw, thank you so much, Lyra. I appreciate that. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I played Skyrim. I haven't played since, I really haven't played since back when it first came out, which would have been, came out 11/11/11. So that would have been, I would have been in college at that point. Yes. So I haven't really played, I don't think I played it since I would have been early college for me. So I don't think I played the game since college. I mean, I might have dabbled in it here and there, like bits and pieces, but not like a good playthrough of it. So it might be fun to play. So I want Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, we got Starfield coming up, which is good. I am excited for Starfield, like a sci-fi Elder Scrolls. Sounds fun. But I want my Elder Scrolls. God dang it. I just want it. I want it. I want it more than anything. David Johnson, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, hello, sorry, I haven't been around lately. I'm getting better. I hope, and I still have all your videos. Oh, David, don't feel bad. It's totally okay. I'm glad that you're here now. It's okay if people fall off, come back on. It's totally fine. I'm here. I am here to dance for your entertainment and try to have some fun and share stuff and create a community. And, you know, communities ebb and flow. People flow in and out of communities. It's totally okay. I still love having you here. And I love that you are here. And I love having you back. So do not feel bad. You did nothing wrong. But I'm glad that you are here. So thank you so much, David, for the super chat. I appreciate that. But don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. You are absolutely wonderful. Aronok asks, I see some more super chats, but I want to answer this. Have you played Outer Worlds? I have played Outer Worlds. I love Outer Worlds. For some reason, I didn't finish playing it because I got busy, but Outer Worlds is so anti-capitalist, I freaking love it. It's like super anti-capitalist Fallout, and I enjoy it. But for some reason, I like Fallout, and I like Outer Worlds, but for some reason, when I played those types of games, like the big open world, like RPG type games, I like fantasy settings more. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's not that I have something against it. It's just, I just like existing in a fantasy setting where, like, Outer Worlds and Fallout are fun, but they're not, like, worlds that I'd like to be enveloped in, whereas Elder Scrolls is just, like, a fantastic world where, like, you come across, like, over a ridge, and you're like, oh, this world is beautiful, and I just want to explore it. Whereas Fallout, it's like, this is an interesting world full of, like, really cool sci-fi world building, and Outer Worlds is the same thing, but I'm just like, I don't really want to live in this dystopia. It's fascinating to be here, but I don't really want to live here. Whereas like Elder Scrolls, if I got transported to Skyrim or I got transported to, you know, Cyrodiil, I mean, it wouldn't be easy, I'm sure, but I would be like, you know what? I like living here. This is a cool place to live. I could live here. But like Fallout is like, oh gosh, no, never. Do not wish to live in the Fallout dystopia. Unless I become a ghoul. Because if I became a ghoul, I would 100%, because I would live forever. And I'm here for that. Heart to you, Chloe. You said finally catching up on the Chucky series. Yeah, to be fair, I heard the Chucky series is good, but here's the thing. I've never seen a single Chucky movie. And I know I need to. I know they're all, like, they average out to be pretty good. But I've never seen a single Chucky movie, which I probably need to fix considering I'm such a horror fan. But there's, like, a few of those where, like those big franchise ones. Like, I've only seen a few of the Friday the 13th movies, only a couple of the Halloween movies, none of the Chucky movies, never seen any of the Leprechaun movies. Like, those franchises that are just, like, have 50 billion entries, I actually, like, kind of miss them. I've only seen the first Saw movie. I think Paranormal Activity is the only series that I watched, like, every single movie as it came out. I think that was, like, the only one, so. Andrew Clegg, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, did you play Morrowind, or were you too young? I played a little bit of Morrowind, but it's not that I was too, it might have been. My brother got more into Morrowind. For me, Morrowind, I just never got into it at the moment. The game that got me into Elder Scrolls was Oblivion. And I just remember, having my Xbox 360, and Oblivion was one of the first games I got through my Xbox 360. And it was just that, like, revelatory moment where you come out of the tunnels. I think a lot of us remember this, where you just come out of the tunnels and you're like, oh, I can go anywhere. And it's just, like, a moment in gaming that, like, now is sort of ubiquitous. Like, so many games have that. But like, that moment of just leaving the tunnels in Oblivion was just, like, oh, I just remember that as, like, one of my favorite gaming moments of all time. That, like, easily that moment in Oblivion is one of my favorite moments of any game. So, Dax Carr, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, hey, what's going on? What's today's topic? I just joined. Well, thank you so much for your super chat. And the topic is whatever anyone else wants to talk about. So we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, Dax Carr. And thank you so much for the super chat. Lyra asks, are you excited for Elden Ring? I'm not super excited for it, just because I'm not a big, like, Soulsborne person. Like, the Dark Souls, where it's, like, destroys you emotionally as you slowly build the game. Like, conceptually, I love the idea of those games. Like, I love Jedi Fallen Order, which was built in the same framework, but wasn't as difficult. And I'm not, like, it's not like I'm a bad gamer. I can totally play harder games, but I just don't have the time for them anymore. And so, like, playing a game like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where it's like, they're cool games. Bloodborne especially, like, the aesthetic of Bloodborne is, like, right up my alley. Freaking love, like, the world of Bloodborne. But I just, like, played it, and I'm like, this requires so much time investment and skill investment that I just don't have in this point in my life at the moment, that I just can't get into it. And Elden Ring, from what I've heard from, like, the previews that came out this week, it's less, how do I put it? It's like, it's going to be less directly difficult. Like, it's going to be less directly difficult, but I don't know. Like, maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll probably give it at least a whirl, but I'm not super pumped for Elden Ring. But I'm not like against it. It's just a game that, like, I don't know if those games, like, really speak to me as much. So, defeat capitalism. I'll do it myself, Lyra. I will defeat capitalism all on my own. I wish. Sadly, that's a bigger effort than just I can do. I would do it for you, but we all need to work to dismantle capitalism, which is a whole thing. But that's a whole other conversation, to be fair. Let's see. Lyra, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, one of these days we gotta see you in the beautiful world of Morrowind. I will give it a shot at some point. My problem with Morrowind having touched a little bit is just that it's a little less directionless. And I'm someone who needs a little bit more direction than Morrowind gives. And I love the world. Like, the world of Morrowind is very cool. But it's a little less directionless for my taste. In some of, like, it's just like, you need to do this thing. And I'm like, where do I go? And it's just, the game's like, figure it out. And I'm like, okay, I'll try my best, game. Yeah, I'll do it for you. So we'll see how that goes. But I would love to. Let's see. Watch the first Child's Play, then go back straight to Bride of Chucky. I think you'll like that one. I'll give it a go. I will check out the Chucky movie. So to me, I'm a completionist. So if I'm going to begin that project, it's like I'm going to watch all of it. And so that's what it's like. I need to, like, actually sit down and do it, because I've done that with most of the franchise, where it's like, all right, if I'm going to watch this, I'm going to watch it. So it might be honestly, it might be fun to do a video about like that, where it's just like, all right, there's a couple franchises that I want to do that with. Like, I want to do a watch of the Highlander franchise and just like watch all of those shows and movies and like make a video out of it. Kind of like Quentin Reviews, by the way. If anyone watches Quentin Reviews, like did the videos on Victorious and iCarly, which are great, by the way. I would love to do like a 6-hour video where I just watch all of Highlander and just download it into everyone's brains, like all of my thoughts and just weird feelings as I go through that journey. One day, I don't know when I'll have the time for it, but one day that would be a video project that I would have a lot of fun doing. Or Stargate Atlantis. Stargate Atlantis would be one that I would love to do a retrospective on at some point, because I love Stargate Atlantis. And Lady Nightbrave, who's another YouTuber who I really love, did a great analysis of Stargate SG-1, but Lady Nightbrave apparently isn't like I mean, I don't know, but like doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of Stargate Atlantis, or like not as into it as Stargate SG-1, whereas Atlantis was my show. I liked SG-1. I loved Atlantis. And I would love to do a deep dive on Stargate Atlantis at some point. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Let's see. And heart to you, punk rock zoologist. I appreciate you. You said, random question. Have you ever had a weird pet, i.e. not a cat, dog, fish? I'm bored at work, so doing research about how to look after a diamond python. That's a weirdly specific animal. So I never had a diamond python, but in my life, I've had hermit crabs, which got killed by my dad they got loose one day. We had some hermit crabs we got from Virginia Beach. They got loose, and sadly they got killed because they went into like my dad's reclining chair, and then my dad went back, and yeah, didn't really go well. But we had hermit crabs. I had fish as well. I've had like 6 or 7 cats throughout my life. Yes, like at least there was Fido the cat. There was Chrissy, Socks, Mittens, Miss T, Fido 2. At least 2 more that I'm blanking on off the top of my head. So a bunch of cats. I've had quite a few cats in my lifetime, and then Newt, obviously. And then like a dog with that's still alive that my parents have, called Mickey. So I still have Mickey. Yeah, I think hermit crabs are the only ones that were like way out there for me for pets. I think that those were the only ones that were like really far out there. Heart to you, Chloe. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said you'll love the series for its LGBTQ representation. Oh yeah, I heard that Chucky the show had a non-binary character, which is awesome, which I'm excited to see. And then I heard that someone said that that there's a character, that the character is a reference to another character earlier in the series who was like not overtly LGBTQ, but definitely was showing that in the series. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see that. I think it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see that, because I do want to watch. I will watch the series, but I will check it out. So thank you for both of your super chats. I don't know how Jessie feels about horror, but I feel confident she can enjoy camp, and Bride of Chucky and Afterwards are camp. By the way, Andrew, I am a huge horror fan. If you go over to I have my secondary channel. I just did at beginning of Halloween, I did a video where I gave like recommendations of my favorite horror movies. And I can go niche. I like watch a horror movie at least once a week, almost. And I go like niche horror movies. Like, what did I just watch? Like this past weekend, I watched a horror movie that also had like a gay character in it. It was actually really good. It was a very indie horror. I'm gonna recommend it because I liked it. Though I thought it was a little bit short. It was only an hour and like 15 minutes, and I felt it could have gone like it just when it was getting interesting, it ended. But it was still good overall. Night at the Eagle Inn. I watched. It was a little indie horror film called Night at the Eagle Inn. Very, very good. But I will say that it ends 50, which is I very rarely say this. Very rarely do I say a movie most of the time I say a movie's too long. This movie was too short. And it gets really, really interesting, and then it stops. I'm like, no! That was when it was getting good! But I guess there's something to be said about leave them wanting more. So Night at the Eagle Inn, I would highly recommend if you're like into niche horror. It was like a horror. I was gonna say horror comedy. It's not really a horror comedy. It's about 2 siblings who go to a motel where their parents died and disappeared at. The night that they were born, their parents were stuck at a motel, and they gave birth to them. and then their parents disappeared. So they return to the motel and see some mystery of what happened at the motel, which is interesting. It's an interesting movie. I won't spoil more than that. Every fairy dies. Hard to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, I'm sensing lots of needed hugs in chat tonight, so hugs to all who wants them, handshakes, waves. Yes, hugs to everybody and love to everybody. As I kind of alluded to, I posted about this with my Mike McMahon thing, the post I made on my community tab a few days ago. But obviously, the stuff that we've been talking about this channel has been difficult this past month or so. And especially, I know I was feeling it. And I especially know a lot of you out there who are LGBTQ, and especially if you're trans, non-binary, any of you folks, the past few weeks have sucked. For a lot of different reasons, but especially some of the videos that I've been talking about those topics. I won't go into them because I don't want to necessarily get into them and rehash them right now, but it's been rough and scary, especially if you're in the UK. And my heart goes out to everyone who lives in the UK and all my trans and non-binary folks, friends and siblings who live in the UK. A special heart to you. It's been difficult. And so I just want everyone to remind everyone that it's important to take refreshers. It's important to find joy and find happiness and hug each other and love each other and appreciate each other for two different reasons. One, taking care of yourself also means that you can go out there and fight another day, but also it's just important to remember that you are important and loved and you don't always have to fight. It's important to just know that you can take care of yourself. And I'm sorry that the world makes us feel that we have to fight every day just for our own legitimacy. But at the end of the day, your happiness is revolutionary. Your ability to be happy as a trans person, non-binary person, LGBTQ person, and much as people like to say it's normalized now, it's you getting to be happy in yourself and in your own life and in your own skin and to be accepted, that is still revolutionary. It's sad that it is, but it is. And just know that doing that is amazing, and fighting for your own happiness and being happy for yourself is really wonderful and really amazing, and never think anything less than that. You're absolutely wonderful and amazing. So I just want to send love to everybody. It's something that I needed to hear too this week. After last week, it was really rough, and it's part of why to talk about some of the stuff. I'm working on a video that's really big right now, and it's all about Star Trek. I'm basically making a movie about Star Trek and sex. It's gonna be a 2-hour freaking video. Trust me, it's going to be a long video. It's going to be one of my biggest videos, but I'm having so much joy doing it. And it's I don't know if this video is going to do well. I don't know if because I could talk about another hard trans topic or whatever. I don't know if this video is going to do well, but heavens if this video doesn't bring me joy, and I think it's like something that makes me happy, and that is worthwhile. And again, I want to say thank you to all of you for allowing me to do that, but still, it's important to recognize we need to work on our own joy. So I think that that's all important to recognize. So, and I see everyone sending hearts in the chat, and I know I'm missing some super chats, but I just want to make sure I see everyone, and I want to send hearts to everybody and love to everybody. You're all wonderful. You're all absolutely freaking wonderful. Okay. So I want to make sure I don't miss the super chats. I'm going to try and go through these super chats a little bit fast so I can catch up with everybody. But Adrian, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, will you do a trans analysis of Matrix 4? Yes, I actually, so I'm 100% going to be doing a review of Matrix 4. So there will be a review of Matrix 4 on my channel at some point. I don't know if I can guarantee I'll do an analysis video of the movie, just because I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know if there will be something enough there for me to want to make a movie about it. There will definitely be a review. Whether or not I'll do actually a full in-depth analysis of the movie will depend on the movie itself and how I feel about it once I've seen it. So I won't guarantee anything that. But what I will say, and I'll promote this a little bit, is I don't have the exact information on it yet. But there is a college that asked me to be on a panel about both The Matrix 1 and The Matrix 4. So I will share, when I have more specifics on the information about that I will be on a panel talking about the movie. So there will be a review and there will be a panel, and I'll share information about it when it gets a little bit closer. It's going to be towards the end of December. So keep an eye out for that. So if you want to hear me talking about The Matrix 4, you'll definitely get chances to. I can't guarantee I'll do it an analysis video. Maybe, maybe not. It depends. But you will definitely hear me talking about it. So most certainly. Heart to you, Catherine Lambeth. Heart to you. You are wonderful. You said, so our Scott Pilgrim versus the World homage will be Jessie Gender versus the capitalism. Yes, we can do that. We can do that. Jessie Gender takes on capitalism. I love it. I love it. It can also have a disappointing ending that you have to reshoot later on. Let's get, I'm blanking on the director. He just did Last Night in Soho. Oh my gosh. Edgar Wright. Let's get Edgar Wright to direct that movie. If to be fair, if someone was going to make a movie about my life, I would want it to be Edgar Wright. Like, please, if I die and Edgar Wright is somehow still like outlives me, hire him to make the autobiography or to make the biography film about me. I would want that. I want it. Looney1023, heart to you. Thank you so much. You said, hello, Jessie. Your videos are super thoughtful and thoroughly enjoyable. Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Are you a fan of JRPGs, and have you played any Persona or SMT games? Sadly, so I feel bad because everyone like is asking me about these games. And I'm like, but I'm more of like a story-based game person. JRPGs again are not my favorite thing because they tend to be more turn-based, and I'm not a turn-based like kind of person. I don't really like the Dragon Age. Even Pokemon is not like my jam. I will play Pokemon here and there, but I don't love it. I like the JRPGs that get a little bit more like action oriented. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake, actually. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is the first and only JRPG that I've beaten front to back in my life. So take that for what you will. I do know a lot about. I've like watched videos on the Persona series. I know the Persona series have like trans characters are really like fascinating and interesting in those regards, and I know I should give them more of a chance. Sadly, I have not given them as much of a chance as I probably should have. You know what? I will probably at some point give Persona a shot. Because I should. I played a little bit of Persona 4 Golden on the PlayStation Vita of all things. But I never got like super into it. So I should check on that. At some point. Alright, just hanging in. Heart to you, Ronak, Lord of Rain. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said the 36 lessons of Vivek would be a good stream content. I don't know what that means. Is that like a YouTube video or something to watch during a stream? I'm just checking it up. Oh, I see. It's a Morrowind thing. Interesting. Yeah, at some point maybe I'll do a stream of Morrowind at some point. I need to do Dragon Age as well. Morrowind and Dragon Age are like two games that I want to do at some point, some streams of. So we'll definitely be thinking about that for sure. Sage MacArthur, heart to you. Thank you so much to your super chat. You said, have you seen Last Night in Soho? What do you think? Sage, I actually did a review. I'll share it in the chat now, though your question has long since been asked because I'm just catching up on super chats. But let me share this here. Last Night in Soho. So for those of you who don't know, I have a secondary channel, and on my secondary channel, I do reviews of like movies and stuff that I've seen, and I'm just posting in the chat just now the link to the Last Night in Soho one. So if you want my thoughts, Sage, on Last Night in Soho, I did a review of it, and I just shared it in the chat. So Aronok says, LK Lady Night Brave likes Stargate Atlantis, but not in the way she loves SG1. Stargate, yeah. See, Aronok, you and I are vibing because I figured Lady Night Brave liked Atlantis, but like Atlantis is my personal favorite. No one here for Stargate Infinity or Stargate Universe though. I like both of those shows. Stargate Universe I actually enjoyed. It got better over time. But yeah, no, Stargate Atlantis is easily my favorite Stargate show, like by a hot mile. But that's probably because it has more of the horror subtext and also the slightly less problematic coding alien cultures as like just like marginalized people's cultures or cultures that are not American, which is like so yeah. Let's see. Mac the Knife, heart to you. Thank you so much for your super chat. You said, hi, Jessie. Just wanted to say you're awesome. Also, thoughts on MASH. It's my latest obsession with an insane amount of LGBTQ subtext. Oh, yes, it does. Finally, a show someone asked me about that I actually know about. I love MASH. I have not watched MASH in a while, but I used to watch MASH all the time as a kid. And actually, MASH, I have a weird touchstone with MASH because this is like going to be a roundabout story. But I love MASH, by the way. I should just say, that show is freaking great. I freaking love MASH a ton. Such a great show. It still holds up for the most part. Like some jokes here and there and blah, but on the whole, that show, I think, still holds up. And I actually even like Klinger. I will fight for Klinger. Though my weird touchstone with that show, in like a weird roundabout way, was one of the first times I ever got to wear a dress in public was I was cast in a theater show of Bye Bye Birdie back in high school, and I was cast as the main character's mother, because one of my like high school teachers thought it would be funny for me to play the grandmother, and it was true. I nailed it, and I thought I played her freaking hilariously. I was awesome at it. But I was so nervous to take the part because I didn't want people to know that I was trans, and I was like, I got asked to be the part, and I was very excited. I was like, I'm gonna get to wear a dress on stage. It's gonna be so much fun. And I was so nervous to accept it because I didn't want to like out myself. Even though like they had asked me to take the part, which now that I think about it, maybe they knew, and that's why they asked. I don't know. I'd have to ask them about that. But regardless, I was so nervous, but then my dad came and told me, he's like, well, when I was a kid, I got cast as Klinger in MASH, in my high school play. And I really loved that. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So now that it makes me wonder a little bit more about my dad. Anyways, but yeah, it was one of the reasons that like got me to like go on stage, and it was one of the happiest moments of my life in early childhood, like getting to wear a dress on stage and everything. So Klinger, in a roundabout way, MASH has actually had a like really important part of my life. But yes, the show MASH is great. The movie MASH is good too. And also Rene Auberjonois is in the movie, I believe. Odo himself, the late great Rene Auberjonois. But I might be misremembering that, but I seem to remember that being the case. I believe he plays the priest. I might be misremembering that, but the show is excellent. Alan Alda as Hawkeye, absolutely like freaking perfect. Also, speaking of Lady Nightbrave earlier, Lady Nightbrave did a video on MASH, and it was also excellent. With Aronach, I don't know if you helped on that one or not, but it's really, really good. Yes, and Aronach, I agree. For anyone who wondering, Lady Nightbrave's videos does cover the elements, problematic elements, SG1 really well. Yeah, Lady Nightbrave and Aronach, I know you help out Lady Nightbrave quite a bit on her videos. They're like, she does such a good job like analyzing the works. Like, what I love about Lady Nightbrave, and Aronach by extension, you as well, is she does such a great deep dive on the shows and topics, and yet she doesn't like let them have a pass on the things that are problematic. And so like she's talking about, these are the things that I love, this thing is wonderful, but here's some things that are not great about it, and I appreciate that heavily. I think that's really, really, I very much agree. Sarah, heart to you, said George's Resistance. Yes. Mwah. I'm assuming that super chat was when I was talking about that earlier, but yes. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I appreciate that. And Jessie, have you seen The Americans or Homeland? No, I have not. I want to see The Americans. I feel like I would love that show. Homeland, less. I know less about Homeland, but it feels like a little bit like police procedurally ones that I'm not like super into. But I may be incorrect. I don't know much about Homeland, but The Americans seems like a show I would love. That I would actually really love that show, and I keep wanting to get to it. It's that The Americans and The Leftovers are two shows that I'm like, I know I would love these shows, and I have not had the time. But I need to get to them because I know I would love both of those shows. The Leftovers, thankfully, is a little bit less of a time investment than The Americans, but still. So. Andrew Clegg, heart to you. You said, Jessie, if you have a PS4 or Switch, you should try Trials of Mana. It's JRPGs with all the pros and cons, but it's very action heavy and fun. Oh, I've heard of that one as well. I've heard of that one. I'll give it a look. And thank you for the super chat. Heart to you, Keats Cast. You said just stopped in to say you're amazing. Have a good night. Oh, you're amazing, Keats Cast. Mwah. You are lovely. Sending you love. I keep blowing the kisses, but I'm like blowing it at the camera. So, mwah. Blowing through the camera through the virtual lens to you, Keats Cat. I appreciate that. Oh, Casper, y'all. Good to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you for finding the channel. It's good to have you here, Casper, y'all. Welcome to the channel, my new friend. All right, let's see. Catching up. Catching up on the chat here. Making sure I didn't miss anyone's interesting questions. I never played Dante's Inferno. I heard that game was good. You want to know what game I also want to replay? And I know it's like super... I was gonna say super heterosexual, and it is that, but more sexist is more probably the word that I was looking for. But God of War, the original, not the new one, which the new one is also great. I love the new God of War, but the old like original God of War game, I loved the crap out of that game. And again, not for the boobies. I always found the boobies in that to be like so I mean, it is juvenile. They are juvenile, and like all my friends are like, "Oh, look at the boobies in the God of War game, isn't it so adult?" And I was just always like, "God, I should have known. I should have known as a kid that I was different for so many reasons." But I was just like, "All right, fine." But the gameplay, I loved the Greek world building and like the Greek world building and like the epic scale of that game, where you get to see like, you get to see Ares like fighting in the background, like, oh yeah, the original God of War game, despite its sexism, is a really good game, and I really, really enjoy it. Now I want to go back and replay that original game. But anyways, think the word you're looking for is heteronormative. No, Black Cover 95. No. Heteronormative is true. No, God of War is aggressively heterosexual. And when I say aggressively, I mean aggressively. It's aggressively heterosexual. Like, I don't think there is anything more aggressively heterosexual than, and I don't mean that disparagingly, necessarily. Like, there's nothing wrong with being heterosexual. But, like, the original God of War game is, like, aggressively heterosexual. Yes, I agree, Sarah. The best Muppet is Pilot from Farscape. I love Pilot from Farscape. Pilot from Farscape, besides Aaron Soon is my favorite Farscape character, followed directly by Pilot. Though Pilot's gotten less to do in seasons 3. We're currently in the middle of my Farscape rewatch. I do a podcast on Farscape, for those of you who don't know, with the wonderful Vera Wild of Council of Geeks. But we do that podcast, and we're currently in the middle of season 4 of Farscape, and I feel sad because, like, Pilot had so much to do in seasons 1 and 2, and now he's just kind of become there, which is unfortunate, because I like Pilot quite a bit. But Aaron Soon is still my favorite Farscape character. But if we're talking all Muppets, like if we're talking about the Muppets, it's Gonzo. I always love Gonzo being the weird like straight man. Oh, everyone, send Geek Filter love. Like Geek Filter, thank you so much for the super chat. Everyone send Geek Filter love right now, because I know Geek Filter's been having a rough like few days. So please, everyone send. I want to see hearts in the chat for Geek Filter. Please send hearts in the chat to Geek Filter, because Geek Filter deserves all the love, and he is my wonderful co-host. Does amazing freaking work. I adore him, and I just want to see hearts for Geek Filter, because he absolutely deserves them, and needs to know that he is loved and supported. So just please send him some love. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate that. In Geek Filter, I send you love. You're absolutely wonderful, and I adore you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So, you are very much appreciated, Geek Filter. Also, by the way, I won't spoil what it is because I don't want to ruin anything for you, but Geek Filter has been working on something that he's been sharing me like images of that he's been working on, and it's so good. It's very, very cool, and I'll make sure to share it out. When you're able to show the thing that you've been showing me, Geek Filter, I just want you to know I want to share it out, because like legitimately it's really good. I know we've been like chatting about it, and I haven't been able to like respond as well, but like the thing that you are working on looks really good, and I think you should be very proud of it. So I just want to say, and I'm excited for when you can share it, because I think people will be very excited to. I think this channel in particular will be excited on what you are specifically working on. So we'll talk about that. But thank you everybody for sharing love for Geek Filter, and Geek Filter, I hope you're doing good. What else you saying? Oh, it's people were talking about God of War before we got into stuff. Yeah, I mean, I should do a God of War stream at some point, and just be like, just call the stream title being aggressively heterosexual with God of War. Probably January. Cool. Oh yes, and yes, Geek Filter. Everyone watch tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, I watched the first episode, and I like the first episode. I think it's a little bit sanitized. But there's the current documentary on the History Channel called The Center Seat, which is a documentary about Star Trek and the history of Star Trek. I liked the first episode, and I particularly love their I Love Lucy stuff. I didn't love the documentary. I'm not head over heels for it. That being said, tomorrow, their episode tomorrow is all about Star Trek the Animated Series, which no one has ever done a documentary on. So I'm actually really fascinated about that, because it'll be the first time like really someone's dove into the like Star Trek the Animated Series. And the wonderful Geek Filter, he was interviewed, because he is quite literally the expert on Star Trek the Animated Series. He was interviewed for that show. So please, if you want to see Geek Filter's lovely, beautiful face, go watch the next episode of The Center Seat. Like I said, I didn't love the first episode, didn't hate it, I thought it was good, but the next episode I'm very, very fascinated out, specifically because no one talks about Star Trek the Animated Series, and I'm glad that they're doing a whole episode on it. So, and I'm glad that you got interviewed for it. So it'll be really interesting. Be interesting to see it. People are asking. Rowan Crump said, Star Trek question: what is better, the cage or the menagerie? It's been a hot minute actually since I watched the menagerie. I think the cage, because the menagerie has some good stuff in it, and I like the framing device that, like, Spock, like, I like the idea that Spock cares so much for Pike that he is willing to, like, risk his entire career to care for this man, and it's something I hope they, like, really show the beginnings of in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I'm very excited for. But the trial makes no sense. Like, the way they frame the trial is, like, they like, there's, like, this ad break at one point where they're like, and we find you guilty, Spock. And then they, like, come back after the break and like, well, we declared you guilty, but we're going to keep watching. We're going to keep doing the trial anyways. And it's just, like, so weirdly structured and so kind of blahly structured. And there's also some, if you look into the history of that episode, too, Gene Roddenberry, like, rewriting it and doing, like, Gene Roddenberry did some pretty, terrible stuff behind the scenes of the menagerie. Like a guy, John D.F. Black, wrote the episode, and then Gene Roddenberry took it, rewrote it, and then only put his name on the script. He only put, like, he said, by Gene Roddenberry, not by John D.F. Black, even though D.F. Black had written the first draft of it. And, like, you could argue, like, Gene Roddenberry, showrunner, had a right to rewrite scripts, right? Fair. Could a little bit of a jerk move, normally what you would do. Normally what you do in those situations, David Gerald actually talked about this, another writer, so I was just like, normally what you do is you give the person notes and they would go rewrite it. But Gene Roddenberry rewrote it, and then he stuck his name on it. And then what he did, by the way, this is stuff that I'm doing in my, I'm doing that 2-hour video on Star Trek, and this is part of it, so that's why I just immediately know this information off the top of my head. But, so Gene Roddenberry put his name on that script, and then John D.F. Black challenged it with the Writers Guild, but he didn't, like, actually defend himself, which, to be fair, he should have defended himself on it, but he's just like, this is just gonna, obviously I wrote it, obviously I deserve a credit on it, like, Gene Roddenberry can have a co-credit on it, sure, but I deserve a credit on it, and Gene actually went and, like, said, no, I only deserve sole credit, and the Writers Guild sided in his favor, and so John D.F. Black lost all credit on the script, which makes it even worse, though, all of that stuff's, like, kind of scummy, but, like, okay, fine. What's even worse, though, is when Star Trek got offered up for a Hugo Award. Star Trek got put up for a Hugo Award that year, and Gene Roddenberry didn't submit, like, they had to submit an episode to, like, show to the Hugo Award people. He didn't submit any of the scripts by people that were, like, and it was a writing thing. He didn't submit any of the scripts by any of the people on the show that were, like, written, like, that were getting a lot of buzz, and, like, no, like, the Menagerie people liked, but no one, like, said, oh, the Menagerie is, like, this great work. There were other scripts, like Where No Man Had Gone Before, or a few other episodes that season that had gotten, like, Balance of Terror and stuff. But he submitted the Menagerie because it had his name on it, and he wanted the accolades. Again, I get it, but still, dude, if you're, like, come on. And so it's like a script you didn't even fully write that you're only giving credit for. So it was this kind of like, so at the end of the day, I would say the Menagerie has its problems. There are some elements of the Menagerie that I like, behind the scenes stuff aside with the Menagerie. But there's some stuff I like about it, but I think the Cage is just a much stronger streamlined thing. Though, to be fair, the Cage has its own problems too, because the Cage is essentially just about like people putting Pike in a cage and telling him to pork 3 women, right? That's all that episode really is. It's more intellectual than that slightly, but it's just like some aliens are just like, hey, aliens just like, hey, Pike, bone this lady. Oh, you don't like this lady? We'll kidnap more women and you can bone them. We're not going to even bother with maybe you're gay. We're just going to have you pork this lady for our enjoyment. Like, do it. It's just like, it's like, I like the Cage, but when you think about it, you're like, 1960s were a weird time. So, Let's see. Yeah, the cage is wild. It's very wild, Aeronok. It is very, very wild. All right, looking at the time, everybody. Unfortunately, I have to go get ready for my improv class. Which, by the way, the improv class does have a show that we're gonna be doing. So if you're in, the Seattle area, towards the end of December, I'm gonna have an improv show, and I'll let you all know when that happens. And I'm excited to get to do some improv. But yes, we're going to do we're gonna be doing that. And then some other stuff too that I just want to, can I just share something with you that I've been, like, I want to talk about it just a little bit on stream. I'm going to take this last minute before I go and just be like, I'm so excited about all this stuff, everybody. And since someone's in the chat that's working on it, that I'm very excited about to share it with all of you. But, like, I have a few videos coming up. Tomorrow I have the Mike McMahon video. Lucian is currently working on my Star Trek Lower Decks video, the review of Season 2 that's going to be coming out the week after next. So that's exciting. I have a few other videos in the can that I'm very excited to share with you, but I'm also currently working on editing for myself. Lucian's helping me with it because it's a 2-hour freaking thing, but I have a 2-hour video. It's going to be a freaking movie. I'm aiming to get it out before Christmas. We'll see if that actually happens. But I have a literal 2-hour movie coming to y'all about sex and Star Trek, and I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and maybe some people in the chat are also helping me with it. It's going to have some guest stars, and I'm very excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So it should be a lot of fun. And Black Cover, you asked me to answer your question. I will say, why does Starfleet have such draconian laws? Oh, there are a lot of questions for them, that one. Oh, there are a lot of, that Black Cover 95, ask me that next stream, because that's actually, that's a whole conversation. But yes, I'm going to go head out to my improv class, everybody. Mwah. I send you all love. Look for the Mike McMahon video tomorrow. Saturday, we're going to be playing Skyrim drunk. It's going to be a fun time. I'm gonna Dragonborn that whole thing. Should be a good time. So drunk Skyrim on Saturday, and Mike McMahon tomorrow. And we have some big stuff on the horizon for all of you. So I love you all. I'm going to go be a nerdy dork in a very cold room and try to be funny in front of people. And I send you love. Mwah.